Hey, welcome back. Got something a little different on my bench. It's a cassette deck. I thought, let's get into a cassette deck for once. Why not, eh? This is a HK, Harman Kardon, CD 91. 191, sorry. Not a 91. It's a 191. I paid $1 for this, believe it or not. And the transport mechanism is all messed up. I have the heads in the up position, which means I can't close the door. Turn it on. Makes an awful noise. Nothing happening. Eject is jammed. So I can't stop button doesn't work. So let's get into this. Wow, we got a little bit of fixing up to do here. But actually a nice unit. It's servo controlled. I like these. I always did like these. It's got metal, handles metal tape, chromium, low noise, obviously. It's got a bias fine trim. The knob's all messed up. And input balance, another knob messed up. Dolby B and C. Yeah, it's a nice little unit. Input for microphones on the front. So let's open this up and find out why. It's probably just a belt or something simple. To tell you the truth, this is the first cassette deck I've worked on in probably 25 years, I'm guessing. It's just something that, you know, with the advent of CDs, once CDs came out and you know, started carrying the music that I liked, I never looked back on cassettes. I just let it go because it was something that was, in my mind, it was a flawed technology. Nice clean unit. It's not beat up. Oh, screw missing. This is no big deal. So here's our transport mechanism. And the electronics looks pretty good. It's got those TK caps in here, but I'm going to check a few of those. They look like they're alright. I don't think anything's roasted. Everything looks pretty good. Looks like a low hours unit. Let's see what we can do with this transport. Something is wrong. The Capstan motor is not going. I think that's the reason why it's not returning to a stop. It's not even at a play position or a stop position. It's in limbo. And something else is rubbing up against something here. I'm wondering if somebody was in here and they had a stab at fixing this. And they took things apart and then didn't put it together properly. Let's put some voltage to that Capstan motor. Let's shut this off. Just want to disconnect the connector here. Okay. Now I can put voltage to this. Not 120. let's go with 5 volts. 5 volts. Maybe our Capstan motors kaput. Let's see if this. You know what? The Capstan motor is running, but I think the belt has just garbage. The belt is not even tight, it's just slipping all over. It is loose, and it has no torque whatsoever. Okay, so we're going to have to replace that belt. Just remember, when you're working around here, this is the AC power switch, and there's no cover or insulation on this. There's bare exposed connections here, so just keep in mind of that. You might want to wrap that in tape or something if you're working in here. Okay, so unit's unplugged, because this is all 120 volts here, and that was live. And I actually touched that just by grabbing the side to move it around. But it looks like, you can see that, it looks like there's only one screw here. I can get in there with a screwdriver. Okay. Ah, got away on me. What is holding this in? It should just come right out. Oh, it drops. Oh, you know what? I have to take the bottom off. And I should have done that before I started. I didn't realize that. Unless I can wiggle this out. Maybe. I can just give it a little bend and twist. No, looks like that bottom's going to have to come off. Okay, now that I got the bottom off, I can easily check for cracked solder joints, which would be a good thing. So here's the offending belt, and it is stretched out. Let me measure this. So we got about a 22 centimeter belt here. 21. It's about a 8.2, 8.5. 8.5 I think it would be. Let's see if I got an 8.5. And it just so happens I have one. Here's the original belt. 8.5 replacement. About 8.2. But this is going to work because the other one was so loose it was coming off. Let's do this belt. Maybe we'll replace this one too. This one is a 5.5. 5.2 maybe. Let's see if I have that one. Now, I do have 5.5s, but they are way too thick and the wrong size. So I'll have to put this one back in. It was working. I just thought if I had one I'd replace it and be done with it, but I still got some miles left. Okay, let's put this back together. I don't know if I'll be able to do this on camera with a camera in front of me. Wait a second, what's going on here? Seems lubricated well. I'll leave it alone. Let's start by putting this belt on. And then this belt goes back here. I can't get my big fat fingers in there. If I do it from behind, maybe. Okay. Let's try doing this. You know what makes my life easier is getting this. Sometimes this helps. Yeah, see? That's what I was afraid of. So much easier when there's no camera in my way. Alright. And then this one fell off. I'll restring that. Okay. That one's still together. You're kidding. Okay, I think I got it. Okay. Got some oil on it, on the outside of the belt anyways. I'm just trying to see if the other belt is twisted. It looks like it's straight. It's hard to tell, there's no light in there. I don't want to put it together with a twisted belt. No, it's good. I don't know how I lucked that one out. Or is it good? Yeah, I think it's good. I'll check it from above. And then next comes the screw, which I'll do from above. The screw back in, and then we can test. Okay. All right. Something is wrong with this wiring here. Somebody was, maybe they replaced the light bulb or something. Okay, let's plug it in and try it out. Okay. There we go. Now it's reset. Let me get a cassette. Good old Maxell UDS too. Well, we still got problems. Does not want to go reverse. Does not want to go forward. It barely moves. Does not want to go into play. So it looks like we're taking that transport apart. So I got the faceplate off. 2 screws underneath. I haven't worked, like I said, I haven't worked on a cassette deck in probably since the 90s. It's just something that I've just left behind. Okay, let's unplug some of this first. This wire here is for the lamp, I'm assuming. So let's desolder these to pull those wires through. Yep. I gotta turn my iron on. Doesn't help. Okay. Just gonna unplug the heads. Oh, they're not plugged. I gotta unsolder those too. Wow. Okay, no problem. Let's take these 2 screws out. Okay, we're free that way. We still have wires here to deal with. Okay, so I have to disconnect these 3 cables. 3, 6, 8. What I'm going to do, it's already in the service manual, the wiring, but I'm just going to take a digital picture and then I just have it handy so that I can remember where those wires went. Is it marked on the board? No, it's not. It's not marked on the board. So let's just take a picture. And no flash. It's on auto. Let's go force flash. Alright, desolder these wires and then I'll remove the transport. Alright, just about there. So that should be it. It should be free. Ooh, except for that belt that I forgot. I was looking at this while the camera wasn't rolling, and there's a little bit of conductive glue down here. I'm going to have to clean it up around these big caps. There's a little bit here, but it's not bothering anything. And I think that's the only spot where I see it. I'll just have to look around and make sure there's no other ones. Alright, let's take a look at this thing. Come on. How much longer do you need? So what's dragging here? Something, this piece of tape is out of position. Here's my tweezers. This piece of tape might be the cause of all my problems. That tape belongs here. You can see where the wires are supposed to be taped down. That tape's not going to hold anyways, I'm just showing you. I don't think this lamp's ever been replaced. It's supposed to be like that, and then they put glue around it, but obviously that didn't hold. It's to keep it away from these gears. And I see a big problem here already. You can see this roller, this tire. Get some light on it, and let me zoom you in. Can you see that? See this tire? It's got 3 big cracks in it, and I think it's split. Let's pull that off. Here we go. You can see that now. Here, I'll zoom in so you can see better. Get some light on it. Zoom in. There we go. See, it's cracked. That'll eventually break. It looks like it's cracked right through. Yeah, it's just about done. I'll have to see if I have a tire. You know, I used to do in my youth, I used to turn it inside out and put it back on. We don't do that anymore, right? Okay, so out of my spares, I don't have very many tires to choose from. There was one that was actually kind of close, but it was narrower than the original, quite a bit narrower, but it'll work. So let's try this. The more I look at this transport, I get the feeling that somebody sprayed something in here that's all covered in oil. It seems like everything's got a film on it. Anyways, but this tire definitely is not going to last long. It's because there's 3 big cracks in it. So if I put that back in, it might last maybe 1 or 2 tapes, and then it would be breaking. So let's go with this. I'll put that one back in. Where's my... Okay. This just presses on. Actually, let's do this. Presses on and it locks that tire on place. Okay. This belt stays. To do something about this. Take this tape off. It's garbage. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some hot glue on here just to pin that back to the aluminum, and it won't drag on these gears. So I'm going to heat up my hot glue gun and we'll do that. Okay, so what I want to do is I want the wires to be in their original resting place. That's what I want. I was going to pin that back to the aluminum with a shot of hot glue. I'll let that cool. And then what I want put some more around here. I don't want to go crazy with this stuff. I just want to tack it down just to hold it in place so that when I reassemble it, that wire is not going to go out of position. Okay, so I'll let that cool and then I'll reassemble it. First thing I want to do, the reason that cassette tape wasn't working when I tested it is because this idler tire was slipping. Now, of course, it had those big cracks in it, but these surfaces here, where the tire runs upon, they feel oily. They got oil on them, so I'm going to take some alcohol, clean the surface, clean the tire, and I have some rubbery new I'll actually put on that tire just to give it a little freshening up, and then we'll reassemble everything. I just want to make sure everything's clean here on the on these paths, and it's going to work good first time. Alright, so alcohol. And clean this tire. And then I want to clean the tire drive. This little nub here, it's got splines in it. And you can see the splines fill up with rubber over the years. You can see all that stuff coming out. And clean those splines out because they fill up with junk. And then it doesn't have the traction it should. Just keep spinning it a bit. How dirty that is. Need some more alcohol, I think. Okay, starting to finally, still some dirty spots. Stubborn. Okay, I think that's good. So I got that clean, that clean, that clean. This is all gear driven on this side. This side has a clutch. I could remove it and check the clutch. No, I'm not going to. Let's get some rubbery new and clean up that tire. And while I'm in here, I'm going to do the Capstan roller. Actually, it has some oil on it from the shaft. I'm just going to clean this all up. This will take the oil off too. It's quite a wicked solvent. You see how dirty that is? Okay. This rubbery new is good stuff, but it's wicked. Trichloroethylene and methyl salicylate. Salicylate. It's wicked, but don't breathe it in. Okay, looks good. There's nothing near those gears. Alright, my belt's on. Okay. What I want to do is get a cloth and wipe all that dust out of there. And before I put it back in, I'll clean the head. It really wasn't dirty. It was clean already, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Dry it off. Clean the oil off the capstan. We're ready to put this back. I don't know if you can see in here. The wires, they're glued to the aluminum. And then they go straight back out. And then they don't touch anything else. Okay, so just checking over the board here before I put things back together. And looking for cold solder joints, cracked solder joints. And yes, there are. There's some on this connector here. And there are some on the two power transistors, the power supply regulators. And I think that's about it. I'll solder those up. Somebody was in here and soldered up a couple already, so they knew there was a problem. But they didn't address the entire problem. They just took care of the cracked ones and didn't resolder the rest. And then the rest continue to crack away as time goes by. So I'll just do this up. And these transistors. Okay, I was looking at this glue. It doesn't seem to be bothering anything though. Just gonna leave it alone. Okay, I think that's it. I haven't checked the caps yet. I'm gonna do that next, and then I'll put the transport back. Alright, I think we're ready to reinstall the transport. And hang on, something's not right here. This is okay. And the belt is in place. Okay, so let's wire this back together. Okay, I got it back together. A few things to pay attention to is the eject button needs to be in the slot so that it's in position. And of course the tape counter belt has to be on both pulleys. There's a pulley on the receiving end, there's a pulley on the transmission end. Everything else is connected. I think I can put a tape in. Let's try powering it up. What did I do with my cassette? Okay, everything seems to be working. None of the buttons work until there's a cassette. Okay. You know what's wrong? I have forgotten to plug in the ribbon cable. That would stop things from working. Okay, now we're good. Turn this back on. There we go. know if you can see what happens here. I'll show you. Flip this around and zoom in on the mechanism. Okay, so everything seems to be running. We need to trick this switch into believing it's a cassette involved. See that belt is slipping? That one's barely moving. Let's try play. Fast forward works, reverse does not. I have a feeling it's all got to do with what somebody sprayed into this thing. Let's clean the belt here with some rubbery new. We'll clean that idler belt. So what I'm going to do is just, the belt's running right now. I'm just going to slide this stuff up against it. And it just cleans the gripping surface. A little bit of dirt. Let's try this again. Slowly coming back. Okay, it looks like we still have problems here. Here's my cassette. Put it in. Rewind does not work. The belt's slipping. Fast forward. It tries to go. And I did have the fast forward working, but it eventually peters out and it just gives up. Now, play is the same as fast forward. It doesn't cooperate. Now, the reason I'm finding it's dragging so much is because there's still a lot of drag on the supply reel. And let's see if we can figure out, if I trick it, rewind works fine. And there's lots of torque on the spindle. But this has a lot of drag to it. You can feel that. So I don't know why it's got so much drag. Unless there's something not activating or deactivating. See, I'm turning it, it's got drag. I let go, it's got about the same amount of drag. So I think this belt needs to be replaced. I have belts, but not that size. It'll be an oversized belt. And let's see here. Rewind, doesn't do anything. Belt slips. Fast forward. The belt doesn't slip, but the clutch is slipping because we have all that drag. So let's take the mechanism out again. Let's see why we have so much drag on the supply reel. And we'll go from there. So out she comes one more time. Alright, so I'm going to take this service plate off again, but this time I'm taking out the door. Take this out. And then we'll take out this. I want to disassemble this supply spool reel and find out what's going on with it. It shouldn't be dragging that heavy. I have a feeling somebody sprayed something into this thing and it's some kind of oil or I don't know. I don't understand. It's just not working. We've got things slipping and sliding around. So take this off completely away. Put that aside. Okay. See, this mechanism here drops and locks the two reels, but even that feels really stiff. Let's pop that off and find out why. This one's not as bad. It is stiff a little bit. Let's do this one first. What I'm going to need is, I think I'm going to need a knife. Remove the split washer. There we go. Split washer. You see how everything's coated with oil? Why won't this lift off? It's stuck. Is it ever stuck on there? Wow. It's all sticky. That oil is completely sticky. Okay, well that will be our problem. Let's get that cleaned off and lubricated. that's better. Now what am I going to do with this? It's much better. Look at that. Okay. Let's lubricate this one. Perfect. There's no drag on there anymore. Okay, let's put our back on. Let's remove this one. This one's kind of sticky too. We'll do this one as well. I think this is probably part of the problem. This one should have it. See how sticky that is? It doesn't even want to come off. Okay. Let's try shooting some of this through the hole. Okay. That's a lot better too. Lubricate this. Perfect. Okay, where is my split washer? To put these on, I just put them on my finger and get it lined up with the shaft and just give it a push. Pops right on. That's much better. Okay, reassemble. And you know what? I forgot the belt again. Okay, loosen these two screws just to buy us a little room on the that side's in. There we go. Okay, we are ready to go back in again. I just about forgot one thing. There we go. Okay, I'll put the rest of the screws in, wire it in, and then we'll get back to you. Alright, so I got it back together for the last time, I hope. Let's try this out, turn it on. I expect it's going to be working this time. Let's try rewind. Perfect. Fast forward. Perfect. Play. Excellent. So everything's working good now. I don't have any weird noises, any dragging, anything slipping. That concludes the mechanical portion of this repair. I don't think there's any electrical portion. I'm going to try maybe doing a test tape. I don't know. It seems to be all working. Sounds like a good rewind torque. So I think we're good. Let's put it back together. So we got the HK CD9 191 all back together again. It seems to be working great. I don't have an amplifier on my bench right now, so I'm just going to leave this here. Actually, you know what? Let's get an amplifier and we'll make sure we test this. So just for the sake of completing the video, I got an amplifier hooked up. This is a Realistic SA155 stereo amp, and let's just hear how this performs. You really can't hear much on my bench speakers and a garbage amplifier like this, but hey. So we got tone balance, everything set to normal, CD tape, volume, and it's working great. I don't know, this tape was probably recorded back in the 80s. So, quality's probably not there. But it seems to be working. I was going to try and do some test tone recording, but I have to find a blank tape. And I'm more interested in just getting this finished and off my bench so I can work on something else, to tell you the truth. But that's going to get me a copyright strike, so better not. Okay, I just wanted to finish this up. Looks like it was a result. Nice cassette deck. I actually like this after I've spent a little time working on it. I think it's a nice deck. And if I was using cassette decks nowadays, I'd probably use this. Why not? It's a nice machine. Anyways, thanks for watching.